Hello, everyone, and welcome to the recap video of my live stream hosted on January 17th, 2026. In this live stream, I debuted the mini documentary Freedom from the Fire, which tells the story of not only myself, but four of my clients who have overcome CRPS and are moving on with life. It also details the story of the window pane movement as a whole and the way we are standing against the idea that CRPS is incurable. As you watch this live stream, what you're going to see is a presentation about information on CRPS, including misconceptions that are generated about CRPS, and I hope you will find it educational and informative for your own journey ahead. After that, what you will see is the documentary in its entirety, followed by a series of testimonials and questions from people who are my students, clients, or people who are considering joining my online course. Speaking of the online course, in this live stream, you're going to see me referencing the online course and the resources there and how much I believe in it and its ability to help you or a loved one if you're dealing with CRPS. So if you get curious about the online course during this live stream recap, please check out the description and the first comment on this video below because I've put an exclusive coupon there for you to use for a limited time. Eventually, in about a week or so, this portion of the video is going to be cut out and that coupon will no longer be live. So I would really encourage you to sign up for that course because it is cheaper than a single visit to a Scrambler therapist, a single treatment at a ketamine clinic, and a single visit to most doctors. And for that price, you get more than 10 years of my knowledge all in one place as not only someone who dealt with CRPS himself, but as a doctor of physical therapy, therapeutic pain specialist, and fellow in pain science who now helps people with CRPS all over the world. So without further ado, let's get into this live stream. Let's check out and recap what happened on the 17th of January in 2026. And I hope that you find this informative, inspiring, and helpful on your journey out of pain. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Hey guys, and welcome to the live screening of the mini documentary Freedom from the Fire, A New Hope for CRPS. In this documentary, you are going to watch the development and eventual coming together of the window pane movement and the story of not only myself, but four of my clients that I have worked with to help them overcome this pain and move on with life. You see, in all of my time working as not only a doctor of physical therapy, therapeutic pain specialist, and one of 60 fellows of pain science in the nation, I have discovered that there are so many misconceptions and misunderstandings about CRPS that drive us into fear and keep us in pain. Not only are those misconceptions given to us by doctors, but they are then perpetuated to us by rumors and posts online in support groups and other areas across the internet. My objective as someone who has not only dealt with CRPS a little over 10 years ago and spent 4 years in chronic pain is to spread good and correct information about CRPS to help you and many others break free from this pain and move on with life. The biggest thing I want you to know is that you can get better from CRPS. And I'm not just saying that because I did and all of these people that I've helped did, but I'm saying it because of pure statistics. So one of the things that is pushed about CRPS is that it is incurable. But a simple Google search tells you that 30 to 85% of people, depending on the source, get better. So something cannot be incurable if people get better. Do you understand how that contradicts things? So when you see people saying, no, it's incurable, no, it's incurable, that doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. And I hope it doesn't make sense to you because it's right in front of your face. Not only are the statistics there, but the proof. My hope for you today is that you can start to believe that. You can start to believe that there is hope for a better future for you. And I am so confident that if you don't believe it now, well, here's a card. Go ahead and grab it and borrow my belief for a short time. As you watch what is ahead in today's live stream, I have confidence that a little light of hope might be sparked for you. And I can't wait to share that with you because I truly believe, as someone who has been in this pain himself, that hope is the antidote. And I know that many of you, by virtue of being here today, are craving hope. It is an absolute astonishment to me that over 250 people RSVP'd to this Zoom just looking for hope. I hope to bring that to you now. And before I do that, with everyone here, I know many of you know me, but many of you don't. So let's go back a bit and talk about how I got here. As you know, I was diagnosed with CRPS in 2014, but before that, in 2008, I had my first incidence of back pain. In 2012, I had back surgery on my L5-S1 vertebral disc. In 2013, I had my second back surgery on the same disc. 10 days post-surgery, the pain in my foot began, and it worsened for weeks and months. And then finally, after 8 months, I was given an official diagnosis in my foot. I asked doctors to cut my leg off, multiple neurologists. I went to 3 different ones. All of them thankfully told me no, because that would have been the wrong decision. Eventually, I gave up on trusting doctors and I had made a decision to move forward where I got rid of these pills here on the left. That is a glimpse at the 16 I was taking. And eventually in 2017, 2018, I was pain-free. And the important thing to know here is I have been pain-free since then, and I do not fear my pain coming back. Additionally, I do not view myself personally as in quote unquote remission. And you will understand why as you go through this live stream and this small presentation here before we get into the documentary. Why did I choose physical therapy? So prior to becoming an independent pain coach, I worked at a private pain clinic in Dallas, Texas. And then I worked for a cancer treatment facility as the main physical therapist in Fort Worth, Texas. And then I went to Texas Children's Hospital and worked as the chronic pain clinical specialist for several years prior to starting my posting online. I chose physical therapy because I recognized that helping people with pain requires much more than 15 minutes or 5, depending on the doctor you go to. I wanted a full hour to be able to sit with my patients and learn about them and understand them and see them for what they truly are. Because to me, like I've said before, you're not a foot or a knee or a back or a hip or a shoulder. You are Amy or Adam or Chris. You are a full and complete human being, and I need to know you to help you heal. That's what was important to me, and that's truly why I chose physical therapy. So now that you understand why I got into this, why I'm doing this, and my background as a professional, not only as a doctor of physical therapy, but also as a therapeutic pain specialist and fellow in pain science, let's jump into what CRPS is just in general. Okay. CRPS, as you know, is a malfunction of processing of stimuli by the nervous system. It is an overload of the sympathetic or fight or flight nervous system, and that overload needs to be reprogrammed. It needs to be calmed down. And as you see here, it's estimated around 85% of people with CRPS will experience a reduction in their pain in the first 2 years. Okay, so already we are looking at a situation where this is not incurable. And this is achieved through a combination of pain-based physical therapy, psychology, and sometimes with the help of medication. What I do as a pain coach in not only my online course, but also in one-on-one coaching sessions that I do with clients is I address both the physical components of complex regional pain syndrome and the mental and emotional load that perpetuates, begins, or sometimes comes with CRPS itself. And it is my belief that only through both the physical and the emotional aspects of things can we truly heal. Addressing one by itself will not help us properly, but addressing both together will form a path forward for us. To give you some proof on me truly helping people, here is an article that you can look up anytime by searching CRPS Texas cron.com. This will come up. And one of my clients came to me after 4 years at Texas Children's Hospital, unable to even put on a sock. And within about 6 months, she was back to nationally barrel racing on horses. Here is another one of my clients. As you can see, we started with desensitization. We moved to regular physical exercise, and then she got back to skating, ice skating with her brother, and doing all kinds of activities she loves and enjoys. And then again, here are a bunch of testimonials. Here's me with my clients out in South Carolina. A lot of these people were couch bound when I met them, and they were running a 5K at the Fight the Flame 5K, which was an absolutely wonderful experience. And you're about to see footage of that coming up in this documentary. But first, let's talk a little bit about the definition of pain. Pain is an unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with or resembling the association with actual or perceived tissue damage. The reason I made this presentation is because understanding what has happened to you alone will reduce your pain. So some of you after this presentation and reducing some of the fear around what CRPS is, that alone will calm your pain down. Okay, so isn't that exciting? A lot of times, fear and anxiety around a condition will increase your pain. So for example, when someone goes to get a MRI, they will have more pain just from the doctor showing them their image and pointing out something that is quote unquote messed up. So if you have CRPS and you are seeing images of agony and pain and discomfort, that alone increases your pain. And one of the first things that I saw with CRPS is the McGill Pain Index. And the McGill Pain Index is subjective reporting of pain. So people are saying what the pain feels like, and it's ranking it CRPS at the top. That is scary as hell. That fear ratchets up, and we experience even more pain just from seeing an index like this. And this generates a cycle, which is called the vicious cycle of pain. So you'll have pain, you'll create anxiety, or you'll get anxiety in your mind that pain is signaling tissue damage and harm. The brain becomes more focused on that problem. You start Googling, you start searching for answers, you start going to multiple doctors. Your nervous system changes further because you become more nervous. Then you have more pain, then you move less and have more anxiety, and then your nervous system changes more, and then you have pain again, and the cycle repeats. This cycle is both physical and psychological. So as you can see in this example, you will avoid activity, you will decondition progressively, you will have more pain because you haven't been active, you'll avoid activity more, you'll decondition more. And then at the same time, you're developing anger, anxiety, and fear and distress. Your mood is getting worse, you're becoming depressed, and when you're depressed, you have an increased perception of pain. Things hurt and feel worse. Thankfully, this cycle can be broken. And the way that we break this cycle, as you can see, injury, or for some of you, CRPS came on with no injury at all. You have a pain experience. You start to catastrophize as you read information on Facebook groups and nonprofit organizations and other places. You have pain-related fear. You become hypervigilant and you avoid things. You become depressed, and for some of you, become even more disabled. And then you have another pain experience, and then the cycle continues. But as you can see, if you have no fear, if you confront the situation, you can move towards recovery. Okay, so take a look at this chart, really soak it in, and remember that big part here. There's a pain experience, and then there's no fear. No fear. We want to move forward and take on life again, confront the situation. A lot of you in Facebook groups, you will see what I call alphabet syndromes, co-diagnosed with CRPS. Some of these alphabet syndromes, which I am writing a book about, here's the mock cover. Some of these alphabet syndromes are CRPS, of course, AMPS, fibromyalgia, POTS, PANS, PANDAS, tinnitus, insomnia, EOE, FND, MALS, MCAS, chronic Lyme, mold, TOS, ARFID, EDS, and other chronic pains, itises, or syndromes. What is happening with these conditions is all of them are a result of nervous system overload or intense activation of our sympathetic fight or flight system, which means If you can calm the fight or flight system, most, if not all, of your symptoms of all these conditions will reduce or go away. Let me say that again. All of these are a result of the same problem, an overloaded sympathetic or fight or flight nervous system, a central sensitization of your alarm system, which we'll talk about here. The nervous alarm. So when it comes to pain, if you step on a nail, your nervous system has an alarm system that goes off to alert you that you have been injured. There is a spike in fight or flight sympathetic activity that crosses a threshold of where you will get a pain message. And then after that spike is done and your foot is bandaged and you're healing, that spike comes down. However, for 1 in 4 of all people, when you step on that nail and it goes up above that messaging threshold, sometimes it doesn't come back down to normal level, and we stay up at extra sensitive with a hyperactive alarm system. When we are sensitized for that long, we start to have symptoms that lead to these alphabet syndromes. Okay? Anything can trigger this alarm. It could be a pain event. It could be bad medical information. It could be information shared by people suffering. It could be information read on Google. It could be stressful life events such as traumas, deaths in the family, taking care of others at the expense of ourselves, etc. It could be medical, personal, and physical traumas. And lastly, of course, beliefs about our bodies. An example of an alphabet syndrome from the past is SUNS, sudden unexplained nocturnal death syndrome. This took place, I believe, in Laos, and there were 117 deaths, mostly male. There was no explanation at all, and they were an average age of 33, fully healthy, and the only link to their deaths was heritage and culture. And what these males described is at night when they would go to bed, they would feel this overwhelming sense of doom. And they would explain that in this overwhelming sense of doom, this sleep paralysis demon or monster would come in and those men would die. And medicine could not figure out what the problem was. These men were completely healthy, and it was only linked through their heritage and their culture and their beliefs about what was happening to their body. Pretty wild, huh? And in fact, this monster or this story is what inspired the Freddy movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So quite a scary thing to see. But what I want you to think about is, how is this similar to complex regional pain syndrome? How does this resemble CRPS? The big ways are no doctors understand what's going on, and the more that we fear it, the worse things get. That is why I need to break down the terms around CRPS, such as types, stages, spreading, and remission, and why they are helpful and harmful. So when it comes to CRPS, the types, type 1 and 2, have no difference. Literally all the typing is doing is telling you how you developed CRPS. So with type 1, CRPS started without a clear injury to a nerve, and that's it. There was not a clear nerve injury. It came on insidiously, meaning with no clear reason. That's type 1. Type 2 is CRPS starting with an assumed direct injury to a nerve. That's it. Okay, so whether you're type 1 or type 2, the treatment is still the same. Literally all the types are doing is naming for you how the CRPS came on. That's it. Stages. Stages is actually an outdated term. They don't even use it anymore because people can fluctuate between stages at any time, any given day. And it is believed by some people that stages are inevitable, meaning you're going to start with stage 1, you're going to have, a little bit of fluctuations in skin temperature, you're going to have muscle spasms, et cetera, et cetera. And then you're going to move to stage two, where your skin's going to continue to get worse and your nails are going to fall apart and your hair growth's going to slow down and your joints are going to get stiff and your muscles are going to weaken. And then stage three, they're talking about getting atrophy and loss of bone density and a whole bunch of stuff like that. These stages don't exist anymore. We don't even use them in medicine, for one. For two, they are not inevitable. Literally, someone can be in quote unquote stage one, and then the next day, when they have a flare for a variety of reasons, which we'll talk about, they'll be in stage three. The biggest thing I want you to know is that the atrophy and the bone density loss and all of those things that are associated with CRPS, they are completely reversible. The only reason those things are happening is because you're not using the limb. If I tape my healthy arm to my body and I don't move it for a phase of time, my muscles are going to shrink. My bones are going to lose density. That makes total sense. But then, using a concept called Wolff's Law, if I start to exercise again, even if just a little, my bones and my muscles will rebuild. It will come back. And you can see this when you look at celebrities. They do this all the time for roles. Christian Bale's a great example. You can have a bunch of atrophy and muscle shrinkage, and then when you exercise, it can come back. The only reason that the atrophy and the bone density loss is happening is because you're not using the limb. It is not because CRPS is some sort of poison or venom that is taking away your bones. That is not what's happening. Spreading. This is probably the biggest frustration for me when it comes to CRPS because, yes, CRPS can spread and that does happen, but it's not for the reasons people think. The only reason this spreading is occurring is because your nervous system alarm is becoming more hyperactive. It is not a venom or a cancer that is spreading through your body. That is not what's happening. Usually, spreading will happen in a mirrored pattern because of something called the sensory motor cortex, the layout of your brain. And as you get into more pain and your brain adapts more to that pain, you can see spreading happen from one side to the other. But again, it's only because our nervous system sensitivity is ratcheting up, not because you have a venom that went from your left hand, skipped every other part of your body, and showed up in your right hand. Okay, just think about that logically. That does not make sense. Yes, you are feeling it, but you don't have a poison going through your body. And better yet, you can reduce and reverse that spreading through the techniques that I teach in my online course and in my one-on-one coaching. The spreading can also commonly happen at sites of other break-ins. So a lot of times I'll have clients who will say, I started with CRPS in my hand, and then in my right shoulder, I had rotator cuff surgery a couple years ago, and now I'm having pain there again. Don't panic. This is all reversible, and that reversing comes with calming our alarm. Giving you other examples of our nervous system alarm freaking out and what can happen. We can have color change, bruising, swelling, itching, cramping, pulsing, throbbing, shifting, moving, sounds. Lights can become hypersensitive for us. We can get lightheadedness, vision changes, dizziness, stomach issues, swallowing issues, etc. No matter the symptom you're experiencing, the plan for improvement is always the same. We need to calm down the nervous system. We need to calm down the alarm. So if you look at the sympathetic nervous system and the things that are happening when we are overloaded or when that's activated, it looks a lot like the symptoms of CRPS, right? Heart beats fast, or any alphabet syndromes, right? So heart beats fast, that could be like POTS. Breath is fast and shallow. Pupils of the eyes can expand, make you sensitive to light, right? Your gut becomes inactive. You could get gastroparesis. Your blood rushes to your skeletal muscles and away from your brain, making it hard to think clearly. Hormones rush through your body, making you feel anxious, and it expends your energy, making you fatigued. That is sympathetic nervous system overload. But switching to calm that sympathetic nervous system, allow the parasympathetic nervous system to do a little more work, it will calm you down, it'll prepare you to rest, and it'll help you think and restore. Your heart will beat slower, your breath is full and shallow, your pupils will shrink, making light less sensitive, your gut becomes more active, you get increased blood flow to your gut, lungs, and brain, meaning you get more clear focus, reduce brain fog, your hormones rush back in, helping your mood, helping you relax, and you regain energy. That is how we calm the alarm system. I know a lot of you have heard that calming the fight or flight system is really important for helping with CRPS, but there's usually no direction. You're given medications or you're hooked up to some machine and you're told that this is going to help calm your nervous system, but there's no real tools for you. And that is exactly why I created my 8-week self-guided online program. This program is over a decade of my knowledge all in one place to help you get to exactly where I am, which is pain-free from CRPS. So many people over the last year, 350 plus, have gone through my program and sent me messages about how much it has helped them. That is because I don't just look at the physical sides of CRPS and help you with the physical aspects, like in Module 4 of my course, where we go through my desensitization protocol and update the brain's map to get you out of pain. But I also address the emotional aspects in Module 7 of my course, where we look at trauma and emotions and their link to pain in general. In Module 7, you also get access to my 5-step process for overcoming the emotions and trauma associated with CRPS and help you get back to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. So if this course is something that you would like to partake in, you can check the link in the live stream chat or in the description down below on the re-recording of this video and find out more information there. One of the big things you will find in my online program or through coaching with me is you will learn the 6 R's to calming CRPS. This is something that I personally came up with, and the 6 R's are relearning and forgetting false medical messaging, which is something I teach all about. Reducing negative self-talk and consumption of negative info. This could be reducing how much we're researching CRPS, reducing our time spent in online support groups, and digestion of negative information. The next R is to retrain the nervous alarm through physical aspects. The fourth R is to reprocess emotions. These could be emotions that came from medical trauma when dealing with CRPS, or emotions that came from your past leading up to CRPS that caused you to have a hyperactive alarm in the first place. The next R is to reimagine your future, reimagine a life where things could be better, maybe let go of the idea that CRPS is incurable. And then finally, the final R and the most important R is to reclaim your life. Lastly, as I finish up this presentation and we approach getting into what you all came here for, which is the mini documentary, I would like to talk about what I believe is the problem with the term remission. Remission is great when it comes to insurance, disability, or legal battles. Okay. However, remission is not an accurate term when it comes to CRPS. It is very harmful for our mental state. So, this is what I want you to think of. I call myself recovered because I'm out of pain and I literally have no fear of CRPS ever coming back. Okay. If I was to consider myself in remission, I would always be worried and looking over my shoulder about, oh no, what if I go to the dentist or what if I sprain my ankle and the CRPS comes back? That is not a good mental frame of mind to have. And I don't just say recovered because I'm trying to trick my brain and think positively. I say recovered because I literally have no fear of CRPS, period. And for example, this is my left foot, which I had CRPS in. I don't know if you can hear how hard I smacked it, but it's a normal foot. I can do everything doctors told me I couldn't do, and I literally do not fear at all anything about CRPS. In fact, if I didn't do this, if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't think about CRPS at all. But this is my passion and my career, so of course I'm thinking about it. Um, Remind yourself, most people recover from CRPS, and when they do, they move on. They do, and I'll prove it to you right here. There are 200,000 people diagnosed with CRPS per year, according to Google. Okay. In the largest Facebook group that I can find, there are 20,000 people in the group. That group that has 20,000 people has been around for 14 years. It was created 14 years ago. 200,000 people times 14 years, so 200,000 people per year diagnosed, times 14 is 2.8 million people. Now, granted, a lot of people don't use Facebook. That's fine. But let's think about this. 20,000, the number of people in the group, divided by 2.8 million, the number of people diagnosed in the last 14 years, is 0.71% of people. That means that 99.29% of people, based on those numbers, get better and move on with CRPS. Or at the very least, they don't join the group. But that falls in line with the NHS statistics of 85% of people recovering and getting better from CRPS. So I want you to hold on to those numbers and really let that sink into your mind about some of the information that you've heard about CRPS being incurable. And to take it a step further, I want you to really think about the Facebook groups in general. Okay? A lot of you have noticed that in these Facebook groups, it almost becomes a contest sometimes when you reach out for help to see who's suffering the most. And it is nice to feel comforted by other people knowing that you are not alone. But if you are absorbing information like this, for example, what is that doing to your nervous system? Are images like this helping you stay calm and relax your fight or flight system? Or are they sending you into fight or flight further? In module 5 of my online course, I talk all about this effect of negative information creating more pain. That effect is called the nocebo effect. So whether you, at the end of this live stream, sign up for my online course or work with me or not, I want you to consider strongly leaving some of these Facebook groups that are just making things more scary for you and test out for a week or a month how your nervous system feels being out of them. Give it a shot and see what happens. I also want you to know that, a lot of these groups, while they have good intentions, they're not quite your friends in certain ways. And the reason I say that is because, unfortunately, for someone like me who has dealt with CRPS and wants to help people get out of pain, a lot of these groups will ban me. They will block my posts, make them pending. Even posts that are just free information, like my desensitization videos, they won't allow them in the group. And I understand that sometimes you have to be careful about, people selling things or trying to take advantage of people, but I don't think that all the groups have good intentions in that regard. And the reason I say that is because some of these groups, as you're seeing here on screen, are quite literally run by scammers and t-shirt sellers and people trying to get you to buy herbs, etc. Some of the largest groups are run by these types of people. And so I want to encourage you to be very careful with the information you absorb in these groups and really think about, while you're in this course at least, muting the group or exiting the group temporarily. Okay? So to sum things up, types 1 and 2 are no different. Treatment is no different per type. So if you hear something other than that, it's just straight up false as someone who diagnoses and has had CRPS. Secondly, bone scans and, EMGs, things that show changes in nerves and bone density, they're irrelevant. I had an EMG that told me I had permanent nerve damage. I can do everything I want with my left foot. So if that nerve damage is permanent, it really hasn't bothered me any. Getting back to exercise and moving will increase your bone density and bring your muscles back to full. Additionally, spreading. Spreading can happen, but it is not because you have a cancer or poison in your body. It is because your nervous system is becoming more hyperactive, and calming that down is going to help you move forward. And then finally, remission is a great term to help with disability claims or insurance stuff, but it's a horrible term for our mental state. You do not have a cancer that is lurking in your body at all times. I was diagnosed with CRPS. I do not fear it coming back. I consider myself recovered. I hope that you can start to consider the same thing for yourself as you go on your own journey and find your way out of pain, whether it is through watching my over 270 free videos on YouTube or going through my online course, or working with me one-on-one in online coaching. I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that is here right now in this live stream. And I know you didn't necessarily sign up to see this groundwork presentation prior to the documentary, but I think it's very important as we are at a pivotal moment in the CRPS community. For a long time, people have been afraid and thought that they just had to brace for impact when it comes to CRPS. I am here begging you to reconsider that idea, and I am going to prove to you over the coming years, just as I have done in the last few years of my career, that it is possible to get out of pain. Maybe you don't get completely out of pain, but it is most definitely possible to reduce your pain enough to return to life again. I think back to myself on the kitchen floor 10 years ago when I fell down while drinking my orange juice and contemplated taking my own life. And I look at each and every one of you that is here today, and I just want so badly to help you. No matter how that happens to be. If you send me a message on Facebook, I'll reply. If you have questions about my online course or my coaching, ask at any time. If you aren't in a position where you can sign up for one of those things, that is okay. That is why I make so much free material. I am working about 14 hours a day, every day, just trying to save each and every one of you. Because as you'll see in this mini documentary, every person that I save saves a piece of me. So without further ado, I hope you will bear with me for a moment while I set up the Freedom from the Fire mini documentary. Thank you, and let's jump right into it. My name is Chase Teagarden, and a little over 11 years ago now, I was diagnosed with complex regional pain syndrome. When I was first diagnosed, I was, told I had an incurable illness, and I believed it. I was on the couch and I couldn't wear a sock, and I had to use my mother's old walker to get around. And there was a real moment where I thought, I could take all these pills and I wouldn't have to keep doing this anymore. Eventually I realized the doctors weren't quite helping me, and so I made the choice to find my own way out of pain. And after a 4-year struggle, I became pain-free. Now I help people all over the world do exactly what I did. Get to a point where you don't have to be, couch-bound, and you can run and exercise and live your life to the fullest. Complex regional pain syndrome is the most painful condition a human can be diagnosed with. And the pain can really only be described as a fire in the veins.
When I'm better, I want to horseback ride again. I mostly feel happy whenever I think about when I was able to horseback ride, but so I sometimes feel sad too because I had to say goodbye to my horse Layla. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and not be in pain. It's been over 2 years since then, and I'm forgetting what it's like.
We truly did not know if better was possible. When you don't have doctors surrounding you who can show you a way out, you're not sure.
Right now we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is the first annual meetup for my community, the Window Pane. And not only are we here to meet each other and come together from many different states, but we're also here to participate in one of the only CRPS 5Ks in the US, the Fight the Flame 5K.
Hey, that's Chase.
That's me.
What's up, man?
Not much. Good to see you.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Looking good. Long drive.
To actually meet you in person.
You guys are real.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. When we met Chase I was a husk of a person.
It was really hard. He was not my husband anymore.
I wrote, what does better look like? Better looks like blue skies, sunshine, and football with my 3 boys, getting to run with them and play.
It's all right.
Better at singing silly songs really loud with my daughter, and dancing and changing the words to silly words so she laughs and says, no, Daddy.
Went to doctor after doctor, specialist after specialist, begging for help. When help wasn't coming, I started begging for them to cut my leg off.
The pain in my legs got so bad I couldn't walk or put any weight or pressure on my legs. And then I started to experience pain in my right hand up to like right below my elbow. We were all in just a very negative headspace, not knowing what to do next. We were all very fearful. I didn't want to move. I didn't want anyone touching me.
I couldn't make decisions. I couldn't think clearly outside of myself.
You told the doctors you didn't want to live if this continued, like you were done.
27 doctors I saw that didn't know what to do, that performed surgical incisions on me.
Before I got CRPS, I was very active. And then I injured my knee. And that's when my CRPS symptoms started showing up.
You know, this type of pain is so intense that if you've never experienced it, you don't really have the perspective that the pain gives you.
When I was diagnosed with this, the hospital said, hey, guess what? You have CRPS. It is a lifelong disease. There is no fixing it. All you can do is pray that it doesn't get worse. So that's what they told me in the hospital. So when a doctor tells you something like that, you want to believe them, right? So then I go home and I Google it, and it's Googling CRPS is like, oh, you might as well sign the death certificate now.
I was told my herniations were the worst herniation he had ever seen, and I had the back of a 70-year-old.
Yeah.
That's why I have back pain. But he never once asked me about what happened 6 months before. Oh, my mom died.
Oh, okay.
And then the second surgery, what happened 6 months before? Oh, my brother died. That's what the medical system misses. And you literally cannot separate it like we are. We do more surgeries than we ever have in the history of the world, and we have more pain than we ever have in the history of the world. Clearly, we've missed the boat. Lydia, for example, she had injuries to her legs. She had dislocations happening where she needed surgery. But around the time of the surgery, she lost contact with a horse that was very special to her. That loss and the grief around that loss created a heightened experience of pain for her that lingered beyond the surgery. So even after her knees had healed, the pain remained because it was linked to that emotion. The methods that I use to help people, you know, they're different from traditional medicine, because what happens when you go to a medical doctor is that they look at you and they look at the pain being in your foot or in your hand or in your face, and they zoom in on that area. And the problem with that is the people that I work with, they're not hands or feet or faces. They're Lydia or Adam or Christina. You know, they're human beings. And so my methods involve not only tending to the pain physically, but the pain mentally and emotionally that is keeping them trapped.
I've always wanted to scream that at me. I don't know what that would do. It wouldn't help anything. It wouldn't take it back. It would be a waste. I've spent hours thinking about hurting you for the innocence that you stole from me.
When I find the link of the emotion to the pain with individuals, I help them overcome it by letting go and exploring that emotion.
This one is of my pain.
Oh, wow. Tell me what it means to you.
It's like a storm.
And you're trying to weather the storm?
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed the storm's all inside you. There's none on the outside.
Mm.
Do you ever let this storm out?
I don't know.
We press the emotions down, so much so that eventually they show up in our body. The pain is a protector of some sort. And listening to and connecting with that pain on an emotional level is the exact thing we need to do to get out of it.
Last night you made some good connections about the pain you're experiencing and the passing of your son that you mentioned as well.
Yeah.
You know, she got me up at like 12:30 in the morning, just burning, both feet and up her ankles and lower legs.
I was trying to figure out how to move on from Layla.
Some of the solutions that people look for is like taking drugs perpetually to manage the pain, using things such as ketamine long-term or other interventions. And these are all great to manage the pain. But what I'm interested in is helping people overcome it.
And so then I wrote Layla another letter. And then I put it in the same envelope. And then today, I had no trouble making another horse friend. It's true.
We have a new friend.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's beautiful.
A lot of midnight pain going on, waking up in searing pain. But the good news is I understand why.
It's not going to be an immediate thing. It's not going to immediately snap and the pain goes away. But I can tell myself that this isn't real. And my body eventually goes, yeah, you're right.
With Christina, to get her out of pain, first it was getting her over the fear. She had been so afraid of CRPS when she was 9 and that she would live forever with it. That was the biggest hurdle. As many of us with CRPS are, she's a high achiever. Matter of fact, her hand was stuck in the position that she used to write in for her notes for school.
The alarm system's going haywire. The only way to calm it down is to give it information of safety. All that we're doing is having the brain tune in to the place that is painful, because when we're in pain for a long time, the brain map of the body actually gets like blurry.
What is this?
The stuffed animal.
Okay. What is that?
I think that's the stuffed animal again.
From there, we worked on building the strength in her legs again.
Very good.
The strength in her arm. And then we talked about the dangers of putting so much pressure on ourselves. And we learned self-care.
It is super important that I learn that just because you feel alone doesn't mean that you are.
And letting that emotion out is the very thing that starts to bring down the pain.
When I signed up for lessons with you, I was scared I was going to lose you, like with my last horse, Layla. And you know what? The worst thing I feared happened, but I'm still okay. And you're still okay.
Every single episode of pain I had was deliberately connected to an emotional event that was going on in my life. And once I realized that, it didn't take over my life anymore.
It's freeing. Like now that it's on paper, it's out of me.
I feel like she was herself for the first time that I've enjoyed witnessing. Like for as long as I can remember.
I don't know if you know this quote, but the journey of 1,000 miles starts with what?
One step.
Yep.
I can just think back to like when I was in the wheelchair and when I couldn't move and just having the fear that I wouldn't be able to walk again, I wouldn't be able to use my hand again. And yeah, we made it.
Just the ability to sing again without fear of more pain.
Now you get to play music and worship and lead and do what you're created to do.
Cause we all know that your good love has been pursuing me.
To be here and have all my clients in one place is surreal because everything I do is virtual. And so to think that people have traveled as far as they have, some driving 15 hours, to not only meet me for the first time, but to meet other people with CRPS for the first time ever. With the rarity of this condition, it's unheard of. Getting the message out about an avenue for you to escape this prison of pain, as I like to call it, is a difficult challenge because so many people have been let down over and over and over again by every provider or specialist they've been to.
We're all over the place and going to this doctor or that doctor, and this guy's shaming you over here, and this doesn't work over here. It's that consistency of purpose that you provide, across mentally and physically.
Chase, with him going through it himself, he understands what you're going through and that you're not alone in your journey of CRPS.
He has shown a light of hope into a very dark place.
When I was in high school, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 brain, lung, and bone cancer. In that moment, a woman whose body had been ravaged by the treatment she had, and a woman who was quite literally falling apart before my eyes, looked out the window and said, "It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow. I think I'll feel better." And 2 weeks later, she passed away while holding my hand. The interesting thing about this is, 3 years later, while dealing with the pain of CRPS, I sat on my bed, looked out that same window, put my feet on the ground and uttered 8 words. Pain isn't my prison, it is my power. And so a lot of you, while working with me, many of you on crutches, some of you in a wheelchair, some of you unable to walk for more than 30 feet, you've said to me that throughout our working together, you've heard my voice inside your head. And I want you to know today, that's not my voice, it's hers.
I will tell you for a fact that if I had not met Chase and learned some of the things and took to heart some of the things that he taught me, I wouldn't be out here walking right now. There's no way. I would have curled up in a ball and said, damn it, here we go again. But here I am, 3 days after surgery, walking.
The pain and the diagnosis takes our life away from us. And the key to getting out of the pain is taking our life back. Not only did I never think I'd run, I never thought I'd help someone else. Now it's all I do. The goal is to be a window for them to understand and be guided to a position where pain doesn't rule their life.
There's people out there that can't imagine being out of it that far, that you're so enthralled in it that you can't see past the pain that you're in right now. But brothers and sisters, there is a way. There is a path. You can get out. Don't quit.
Never stop looking. Please don't ever give up. There is help for you out there.
It's truly life-changing for an individual, and it changes a family. The ripple effects of healing pain spread far and wide.
Each person I save saves a part of me. In a way, it's like I'm healing myself because there was no one there for me.
He's done more for me in 16 weeks than 27 doctors in 5 years did.
Hope is very important to not lose track of in the journey, and Chase brings back hope Also, I think in our faith, having hope that we can get through this and that there's a purpose to this.
Do I still feel pain? Yes.
Yeah.
Does it still hurt sometimes? Yes. Am I scared of that pain? No.
When we were in our darkest time, we prayed for direction, we prayed for healing, and Chase's name came up. And now our focus is to just continue to apply what he's taught us and keep moving forward.
Don't stop trying. Don't stop seeking. Keep looking.
It doesn't have to end here.
Nope.
Like, there is life to be lived and joy to be had.
Take the time, do the hard work, get better.
My message to people who are in a dark place right now and who are looking for help would be for them to know that they're not alone. You know, there's a community here with the window pane that is not only me, but hundreds of people by now that are looking to help them too. And so when they're ready, I'm here.
Okay, so if you guys remember the feature where you raise your hand, I would like to ask a few of my clients or former students in my course if they would like to say anything. So please use the raise your hand feature using the react button, and then I can unmute you selectively. So if any of you feel compelled to speak up, we'll go from there. So we'll start with Jen. She was the quick with it. So I'm going to unmute Jen. Go ahead, Jen. You'll have to. There you go.
Hi, everyone. So a year ago, I went to my pain specialist, and he told me that this was the best it was ever going to get. And I started searching for answers. I had read a book, dividing,
Mind Body Prescription.
Yeah, Mind Body Prescription. And I knew that this is what I had, but I couldn't find anyone to help me. So I kept looking around, and I found a link to Chase in one of those groups he's talking about. And I reached out to him for help. In 2023, I had an accident, and it destroyed my middle finger, but I ended up with CRPS in my whole left hand. And this time in 2023, I was in so much pain that I wanted to end my life. So last year, at this time, I went to my doctor and said my life was on fire. Imagine that. And together, we have worked really hard this year to overcome this. Today, I can tell you and Chase that I am 75% off of medications. And I don't have pain. I have sensation, but I don't have pain. I'm working out again, which is what I loved to do prior to having this. And I'll just tell you, I was pretty skeptical at first too, but if you do the work, if you sign up for the course, I can tell you, you will find your way out, just like I did.
Wow. Jen, thank you so much. And I can hear the emotion behind your voice when you talk about this. And it's so cool because Jen did a lot of this through my online course completely on her own. And then right towards the end, she said, there's one missing piece I'm looking for, something, some connections I'm hoping you can point out. And we started with coaching. But Jen you've been with me since quite the beginning of my online posting, you said a year ago today is when you discovered me. Wow.
Yes.
There are no coincidences.
No, there are not.
Wow.
And
Well,
I am so grateful.
I'm thankful to have your trust and the trust of so many others in this Zoom. And if you're ready, Jen, I'm going to go over to Janelle. It looks like she's next. All right. Thanks to Jen for having the courage to speak. I know in front of so many people, it's a real challenge. So, all right, Janelle.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and Janelle's dog.
For some reason I lost it.
You're here. You're talking. Just talk. You're good.
Okay. I've got diagnosed with CRPS over a year ago. It's been about a year and a half after a sciatic nerve pinch that led to a back surgery. And I wasn't sure. The doctors didn't know what was going on. So they put me in to another back surgery the same week. And I came out of that with just as probably even more pain. It was really scary. As I was trying to figure out, navigate what was happening, I was dismissed by a lot of different doctors, pretty much telling me that you're just going to have to live with it. And somehow I think I came across Chase through maybe a YouTube video. I'm not sure how, but I just saw this guy talking about him coming out of his CRPS, that he just started like getting up and moving his toes. And he said he was on the couch for 6 months. So after 2 weeks of laying on my couch, I'm like, I'm not going to be like that. So I started getting up and started desensitizing any way I could. And then I put something on Facebook for the first time because a lot of my friends and family was wondering what was happening to me. And Chase found me and said he could help me. And so we started one-on-one coaching. And I went back to work. I'm a second grade teacher, and I've been back to work ever since. It was hard at first, but through dealing with a lot of trauma from my past, I think the first 8 sessions, I probably cried the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And I am now on my second round with Chase. I wanted to come back because I still needed them. And I'm going to a rage room tonight. I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready to let out all that anger that I've suppressed for a long time through a lot of trauma from my past. And CRPS, I did lose some family members because of my CRPS because they didn't know how to handle it. So Chase encouraged me to start therapy with my family members, and this month will be our first time. So I'm looking forward to that. So I guess if I could just kind of narrow everything down, that I wouldn't be where I am now without Chase. And I really believe within a few months, I'm going to be completely out of pain. I'm almost there.
You're so close. And I know for Janelle, for a lot of people, the emotions that are connected to your pain are really heavy to explore. Yeah. And that is what I believe is the biggest thing that medicine tends to miss, is the emotional load that contributes to ratcheting up our nervous system. So to give those of you who are new to me a kind of an overview, when I was diagnosed with CRPS, they blamed my foot, and they blamed my foot over and over again. And before that, they blamed my back. And before that, they blamed my back. And they blamed my damaged nerves and my EMG that read weird and all of the scans that they did. But in reality, what they missed was what I talk about all the time, is that we are all human beings. And so one of the first things you do in my course is you lay out your timeline of CRPS and what happened to you. And on my personal timeline, to give you a quick overview, in 2008, I developed back pain. In 2012, I had my first back surgery. In 2013, I had my second back surgery. In 2014, I was diagnosed with CRPS. Then, 4 years later, I was diagnosed with chronic migraines, which is another alphabet syndrome. And shortly after that, as that improved, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. All of these conditions are things that I call alphabet syndromes. And that being my physical timeline, let me give you a brief overview quickly of my emotional timeline. In 2008, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. 6 months later, I started to have back pain in my low back, which is right where her cancer was found. In 2011, my mother passed away from cancer. 6 months later, I had my first back surgery. In 2013, my brother passed away from a substance that he was using as a vice to deal with my mother's passing. And 6 months later, I had my second back surgery. And then in 2014, I was diagnosed with CRPS. As I came out of the pain of CRPS and developed chronic migraines, that was at the same time that my life was in shambles and I was depressed and trying to move forward. And then as my migraines went away, I developed ulcerative colitis at the same time that my sister moved in with me, was acting a fool while I was president of my class and taking the hardest course in the program. All of these conditions have fully resolved for me because I was able to make the emotional link to what happened to me and explore those emotions fully. And that is now what I teach everyone to do in coaching and in my course. You see, the anger that Janelle is talking about, it's so obviously right in front of us that sometimes we just miss it. Everyone here shares a personality. You are chronic people pleasers. You are people who put everyone else's emotions before yourself at the detriment to your own. You are people who, through these habits and behaviors, have your nervous system ratchet up and ratchet up and ratchet up until, boom, you get diagnosed with an alphabet syndrome. And for those of you in the chat saying, does this apply to chronic pain? Absolutely, it does. Chronic back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, hand pain, foot pain does not matter. It is the emotions contributing fully to the physical symptoms you are experiencing. And as a final punch home for this, this is such a truth that you already believe it, and it's built into our own language. When someone has a heartbreak where their loved one passes away, oftentimes a year later, they also pass away. That is called broken heart syndrome. An emotion can cause death. Additionally, the number one day for heart attacks is Monday, Monday being the first day of work, and many people hate their jobs. An emotion can cause a heart attack. You describe emotions physically all the time. That was hurtful. That broke my heart. That's a lot for me to carry. It's a lot for me to handle. I should have walked away. I should have put my foot down. He gets under my skin. He pisses me off. He makes me so angry it makes my head spin. It feels like I've been bashing my head against the wall for 5 years. These phrases that you use dictate where your pain shows up. After my mom died, I was stepping up for my family. Guess where my CRPS manifested? In my foot. This is the truth about CRPS that medicine misses, and this is the truth that I'm trying to spread for you. And if you're sitting here wondering how this applies to you, or you don't notice, oh no, that never happened to me in my life, I don't have any problems in my life, that's the exact reason you have pain. Because you don't notice. It is subconscious, and the pain protects you. So on that note, let's jump to the next person. I'm going to go with Renee, and then we'll move over to Krista. So here we go, Renee. All right, you're good. Oh, your mic is not working for some reason. See if you're connected there.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Hi, guys. I'm just so overwhelmed. I was diagnosed with this monster at the age of 12, and I'm 48 now. Thank the good Lord I met Chase a year ago, and he gave me my life back. He gave me permission to start living again. And I think in addition to I think what's making me so emotional right now is the fact that for so long, for what 40 years of my life, I didn't know there were other people, suffering like I was. And to see, unfortunately, I couldn't go to North Carolina, but to watch the video and to listen to everybody's stories, it's really overwhelming. Um, and I think if there's anything that I can say is that there is hope. You do not have to live with this. And I think in the video, one of your clients said, that he still feels pain, but he's not scared of it. And it was like he was speaking straight to me. Because, yeah, I do have some burning here and there, but it's nothing that in the past it would completely crush me. Where I would let that one burn ignite an entire fire, and I would be in bed for weeks, or in a boot, or in a wheelchair, or you name it, have had it. And I am extremely proud to say that I'm at the point where I am seriously considering having my spinal cord stimulator removed. And I'm on zero medicine for any nerve issue, zero medicine on pain, zero pain medicine. I cannot thank you enough for everything you have done for me, for this community. And I thank you for putting this community together because, like I said, I did not realize how many people, there are that are walking in the same shoes that I was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Renee, and thank you for continuing to tell your testimony and your story. Renee's lost something like 70 pounds as well. She is fully headed back to life. And if you haven't seen her testimonial on YouTube, or you want to see her journey step by step in my online course, she is one of the featured clients. One thing I want you to know, Renee, and everyone in here, is that I will be doing meetups like that every single year. And when you come to those meetups, everyone who was there can attest, it's like meeting family you didn't know you ever have. And the reason for that, as I alluded to, is because we are all, in a lot of ways, the same person. And you learn that as you go through my course. So next, after Renee, we have Krista and Lydia, who is featured in our film. So let's go ahead and get them going. See if that'll work. Should be a button for you guys.
Yep. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome.
My name is Lydia Mesdal. You've already heard some of my story in the documentary, but I'd like to add a few things. I've come so far since I started pain coaching. You've taught me how to trust my feet and my hand again. I was able to learn how to walk again, and you helped me work towards and eventually reach my goals of horseback riding, running, and dancing again. I've learned to not fear CRPS in the same way I used to, and I'm incredibly thankful for your help and support during my recovery journey.
Yeah. And we just wanted to thank you too, Chase, for being a support there. When the pain and fear at the beginning were kind of at its highest, and in those times when the flare-ups would come, and you were there just kind of as a calm, steadying voice there to help us just kind of reorient and keep going and really lighten our load a lot.
Changed our lives.
Yes. Yeah, pulled us out of a pretty dark spot, and going from being able to walk without crutches to being able to run a 5K with some amazing people, and seeing her be able to dance again. It's priceless. It's absolutely amazing.
From the trenches, the worst of the pain, to, like we've talked about just this past week, helping Lydia find her wings again. You're helping her learn to live with less fear, more confidence. We are so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you guys for your trust, for believing even after 2 or 3 visits in a row where Lydia barely spoke and barely smiled. To see her smiling now and send me videos of her cross country skiing and doing all of these things, it's continually overwhelming for me and just makes me so happy. You came to me in a place of fear, a place that I very much was familiar with, on a couch that looked a lot like the one that I was on. And yeah, it's wonderful to see. And, you know, you mentioned at one point that I was your lighthouse, and that really resonated with me. And many of you saw Lydia's paintings in the short documentary there. But, you know, my mom, she really liked a poem from Coach Carter. And one of the things it said in there was, "It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And by letting our own light shine, we unconsciously encourage others to do the same." And I very much believe that this last year has been a testament to what letting a light shine does. Through all the negativity or naysaying, continuing to just shine forward as myself and now as a community as we grow, it's really making a difference. And I thank you all for the trust that you've had in me. So yeah, it means a lot. And on that note, let's switch to Isabella and Lauren. I see you guys over there. Let's see. I'm going to try to unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. So my pain started when I was a freshman, and now I'm a senior, and I got diagnosed my sophomore year. And that was like the worst part of my life. I didn't go to school. I couldn't really hang out with friends. I just like stayed in my bed, couldn't really leave my room. And like we did scrambler therapy, every kind of literally everything that doctors would suggest for us, but obviously nothing helped. And then when we met Chase, from Leah's mom, it was just like my life flipped upside down after those like 6 weeks, probably. Like I would go into our meetings like excited because I knew that my pain would go away, even though when I first started I didn't want to, because I was just scared that I'd be let down again, like how every other doctor does. But I think I realized that I trusted you because you had CRPS, you know, it was like you understand me. And that's like how it was. And then I didn't get to play field hockey my junior year, but I did play this year. And I'm back to school doing everything, and I'm just so happy now.
Yeah. I'm Lauren, you have something to say, or are you nervous?
I do. I don't know if I'll get through it, but
You got this.
I have said from the day that Isabella and I first talked to you, you are our miracle. That pretty much sums it up.
Well,
without you, we lost our daughter, but she's back, loving her life, living her life, running, going to the gym. Like she said, she played field hockey. She went to Japan. It's just been incredible. And for all of you out there that might be hesitant, second guessing, Chase was a miracle, still is. He has been by our side. We actually started with you, I believe, right in the beginning also, last January. And we've come a long way. Chase was always there, answering every single text message that I sent to him, that my daughter sent to him. And then just touching on the 5K, because I can go on and on and on and on. It was truly life-changing to meet all of those people and to connect and to talk to people who understand what you're going through, because you talk to people, friends and family that are close to you, and they don't have any idea what we're talking about. So,
and with the fear, like, because you said like you have no fear of it coming back, I don't think I have fear either, because I know that even if it does come back, it'll always go away. Like there's no thought in my mind that it's gonna just stay, because I know that it'll always go away.
Yeah, I think that having that tool in your toolbox, a resource to understand what is happening is really important. And the times that you've texted me where you've started to feel some pain, we can always relate that to stress at school or turmoil in some sort of relationship dynamic or, family conflict. And as soon as you see that, the veil is lifted and the pain starts to shrink. And the more and more that you do that, the less and less you ever feel pain. Um, I want to say thank you so much for your kind words in that title. There are people who have said I'm their miracle. People who have said I'm their Moses, and it it means the world to me. I don't think I deserve it because all I'm doing is pointing at things, and you guys are taking the step to get there. In the Matrix, Morpheus says to Neo, "I can only open the door. You are the one that has to walk through it." And you choose to walk through it, and so you are your miracle. I simply facilitate. I want to draw attention real quick before we go to the next person, and thank you both for speaking. I know that was hard for you both, and it means the world. Lila, I hope I'm saying your name right, in the chat said, well, I've had a lot of real issues like tears, fractures, degenerative things, bone curvatures, etc. What I want you to know is in module 6 of my program, I address that through a lesson called Structure Does Not Matter. And the reason I address that there is because a lot of times we get messages from doctors that we have degenerative disc disease or herniated discs or the back of a 70-year-old, all things I was told, and that we will never get better because of that. Well, I want to let you know that this wrinkle on my forehead did not cause my headaches, and these degenerative problems are simply a part of aging. And simply because you have them does not mean you will have pain. 30% of professional basketball players have torn meniscus without knowing. 30% of collegiate volleyball players have a torn rotator cuff without knowing. 30% of hockey players have a torn labrum in their hip without knowing. Scar tissue is not the reason either, Haley, I promise. And you will learn all about that in my course in Module 6. Okay? If you believe that damaged nerves is the reason for your pain, take one look at any amputee out there. They do not have pain forever, always, and their nerves are cut, burned, exploded, etc. Crush injury, same thing, Matt. We can talk about that. I believe we have a consult call coming up soon, but I just want to point that out for you. Next, speaking of Matts that are in the call, I'm going to go with Matt, and then we'll come to you, Donna, and then Jill, just to give you an idea of who's up next. And don't worry, for those of you waiting to ask me questions or yell at me, you will have the opportunity here shortly. So give me a second. All right, Matt, I've tried to unmute you. See if you can click that. There you go.
How's that?
You're good. Looking
Hey,
good.
there we go. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. And you're looking spiffy as always.
I wouldn't call you my Moses, but I would definitely call you Yoda because you've trained me in a way that I wasn't trained before. I mean, I was injured in the military. I was spent 6 weeks in a coma and 3 years in a wheelchair, and I overcame that, and I got to walk again. And that strength kind of went away for a while. And then when I was diagnosed with the CRPS, it was one of those things that I had to rekindle. And you were the person that did that. You rekindled me each week. And when things got a little low, I really awaited your sessions. You taught me and trained me to overcome this in a way that was familiar to me, yet I'd forgotten. And now all this pain, if I wake up and I twist my ankle or I do something, it's not the beginning of CRPS. It's something that I've already had that I know in a couple of days is going to be gone. And it's just mind training now to keep my mind set, move forward, keep walking. I'm walking 1.5 to 2 miles a day. Myself and my wife just got back from a great cruise, and we had a great time and reconnected. And life is just getting better and better. CRPS is in the rearview mirror, and I just want to let you know I'm also going through your modules again.
Yes.
Just as a rekindling tool.
Yeah.
And I didn't fill out the entire calendar like you had said, the graph with things that coordinate with my injuries and my trauma going on. And man, I tell you, that is an opener, a big eye opener.
Mm-hmm.
is long. And yeah, it's a very long graph, and I'm just continuing to fill that out and go through your modules. And I want to thank you for everything you've done for me.
Mm.
And I always spread your word, always, everywhere I go. Anybody that's got pain or anything going on, you're the first name that comes up.
Thank you, Matt. And for everyone's perspective, Matt has been through the ringer. He had a stroke at one time. He's had multiple surgeries. He's had many challenges. So when Matt says he's walking 2 miles a day, it is like 20
Yeah.
miles for one of us. And he is a military service member, an amazing person, just all around. His wife Laurel was a huge support to him throughout this, and to me, keeping him in line. And I'm I'm so thankful for you, Matt, every single day. I was
I
so
am
glad to
too.
meet you in
I mean,
person, and
it's been a long time. I've had CRPS for 27 years, and
yeah.
it's still I still have pain, but it's not controlling me anymore.
Mm-mm.
I am in control of it,
Hmm.
and you are the person that did that. I mean, I attribute that to you all the time. So thank you.
Absolutely. When Matt and I met, he was afraid to do a half squat in the bathroom using the counter for support.
You bet. You bet.
And now
I am getting dressed, doing everything, just literally sitting down by myself, for myself, getting up 15 to 20 squats a day. I'm back to doing weights. I'm doing tricep pull downs. I'm doing curls. And
love it.
yeah, I can't wait to get back in the gym today. In fact, when we're done here, I'm going to take a walk and hit some weights.
Love it. I love it, man. And I'll be excited to see that physique at our next client meetup in September. There you go. All right, I'm gonna skip two people and I'll come back. I'm gonna have Kyra speak because she said she has to leave. So jump in here, Kyra, um, real quick, and then I will go to Jill and Donna.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. I'm speaking on behalf of Garrett, who is inside getting ready for his hockey game, but he wanted me to say thank you from the bottom of his heart, and he'll always trust you. Garrett's 12 years old and nearly going on almost a year now. It'll be when he was diagnosed with CRPS. And one thing that you're still continuing to help me work through, even after, is I think the biggest thing is still facing the fear, is that I just messaged you actually a couple days ago and said, Chase, Garrett got hit in the neck with a hockey puck. Oh my gosh, the CRPS going to come back? I'm really scared about this. And you were like, no, Kyra, like, you have to be strong for him. Like, injuries can happen. This can happen. You just need to live life and don't worry about it. And so you're still helping me help navigate him through that. But he no longer is in any pain. He's living his life, successful every day. He was just like Isabella, like he couldn't go to school, isolated away from all of his friends, devastated. Nobody reached out. He didn't, in fact, want to tell anybody what was wrong. And several doctors told us he'll never get better. And I couldn't take that for an answer. And I was devastated thinking at 12, like, what terrible quality of life he would have if I never found the answer. And we tried scrambler therapy, and it was through Max and Oshkosh that I really found out about you and started hearing about you through all the groups out there. And I was one of those parents that was suckered into all the bad Facebook things that were out there. I was probably on at least 10 different groups. And I can recall you telling me that in the very first sessions, Kyra, you guys have to get off that stuff. It will consume you. And it really did start to consume me. And so my advice for anybody out there is just trust Chase, because he will put you on the right path and open the door for you. And I really think it was Garrett's determination also that really got him like better. He wanted to get better, and helping you open that door for him to see what he needed to do, like, really led him on the right path. And so I just want to thank you, and you will always be trusted and have a special place in my family's heart.
Wow. When I met Garrett and you, and he was keeping his hand in his pocket, afraid to move it, I just wanted so bad to get him back to all those sports. And yeah, to hear right now that he's at hockey without pain is awesome. And you know, you're exactly right. There is a trauma that comes with being a mother of someone dealing with this condition, or a parent in general. And what happens is you get sucked into a rabbit hole. I have clients who have spent over 50 grand at Spiro or some of these other retreat type clinics and come to me with their child worse off. And it breaks my heart to hear that, because what is happening is the doctors build our prisons and then we serve as our own jailers, because we go on Google and we learn from support groups that do not vet information. They just post pictures with no source, no reference whatsoever. And the fear gets higher and higher and higher. It reminds me of this time when I had, this is personal, but whatever. When I had blood in my stool and I called the doctor's office and the nurse goes, "Oh, that's a sign of cancer." And for a week I had mental breakdowns and I panicked. And then I went there and the doctor said, "No, it's not a big deal. You'll be fine." The effect of negative information on our mind is so powerful. And Kyra was a victim of that. And that happens to us often, more than we know. It happens to us every time we assume something bad might happen, whether it's something physical to us in our body or something bad at an event we're going to. We get anxious and we feel that physically. And as a mom, you'll feel that, and then your child will feel it vicariously through you, and then that'll ratchet up the nervous system, and then you'll get more pain. So yes, when I work with kids, a lot of times I'm working with moms to help them bring down that worry. Kyra is a fighter, and she's learning through all of this what to worry about and what to, just let boys be boys in a certain way. And so thank you, Kyra, for talking, and tell Garrett I to block some goals for me.
Yes, he's super. He wants to definitely go to the next retreat that you guys have, because that was super eye-opening. And
Yeah.
he met so many awesome friends like Isabella, and he still talks about everybody that he met there. And he told me, he's like, Chase is famous. So I just thank you so much, and I just love everybody that we met there. And you're absolutely right. Everybody's family in this community that's gone through CRPS. Thank you, Chase.
Absolutely. And thank you for your trust. And we'll see you in September. We're going to do another one. So we'll make it happen.
Sounds good.
All right. Jill, you're next, then Donna. Okay. Then I think Jennifer's collected herself over there with Dalton. So we'll get to them after that. All right, Jill, here you go. Oh, you're not unmuted yet. Trying to get you.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Alessandra wanted to talk. Hi, I'm Alessandra. I was diagnosed in January of 2024 and through August of 2024. I was able to meet Chase right after I was diagnosed. It was really hard for me, and it felt like hornets were stinging well, this is my description of it when I was little. It felt like hornets stinging me thousands of times per minute, and
How old were you, dear?
I was like
You were 9.
9. And I just feel bad that anyone else has to go through it, and it's bad.
Yeah.
But how are you now?
I don't feel pain anymore at all, and my pain tolerance is really high. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chase, and you're a
For sure.
lifesaver.
For sure. Alessandra is one of a unique clients here, because I met Alessandra when I worked at Texas Children's Hospital before I even went private. And we met in the specialty pain clinic, and I looked at her and mom and I said, don't Google anything, don't read anything, listen to me and she'll get better. And that's exactly what happened. I was able to intersect Allie and her mom before they got trapped in what I call the mind prison of CRPS. And the recovery was swift, and we moved on from the pain. We went and saw a movie together here in town because they live local. And ironically enough, back then, they don't know this, but they were the thing that stopped me from leaving physical therapy and pursuing software engineering. I was so fed up with the medical system that I was actually looking at going back to school. And after I worked with them, one of my coworkers who might be in here, Matt, encouraged me to start posting online about what I do with CRPS because of how fast they got back to doing things. And so I did. I posted online, and here we are now. I am not a software engineer, although I do computer stuff on the daily now. So thank you to you guys for your trust. You will see them featured in the Trial by Fire 2 documentary with me, and you'll see us working out in my anime themed garage together. So that'll be really cool.
I just like to add a few things. It took a lot of courage for Alessandra to speak. We were just talking about things and we watched the Trial by Fire. It made us both or no, I'm sorry, the what we just watched, Freedom from the Fire. And we both were very emotional watching it for sure. I had no idea that you were thinking about changing your occupation, and thank God you didn't, because from the moment I met you, Chase, when we met you, when we had that opportunity, I've said this before, but I knew that things were going to be okay. I didn't know how they were going to be okay, but I knew we were going to be okay because as a parent, as you mentioned, even though you caught us at a good place, better than some that had been dealing with it for years, I had already had the grasp of fear on me. I didn't know what to do. I was holding it in, I was keeping it together. But as a parent, I was just like, you're going to do everything you can. And I feel so fortunate and lucky that we were able to meet you. And that you did change our lives for the better. And then I know some of the people that have spoken already, they've said that if they have opportunities to tell others about what you do, absolutely. I want to share your documentary that you made. There's different aspects that I've learned so much just about CRPS that I think can carry into other ways of life. We can all learn from this. And for those that are thinking about getting help with you or are getting help, good things are coming for you. It's going to get better, 100%. Things will work out and you will get better, and you're in the right place. So thank you, Chase.
Yeah, thank you guys so much, and thank you for your courage to talk, Allie. I know that that takes a lot, and you are so strong. I've watched you get stronger and stronger all the time. And I'll tell you what, I drink out of that coffee cup you got me every single morning. So I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and go to Donna, who has been patiently waiting. And then next up, we will have Jen, Adam, and then we'll get to Jamie. And then I also see Pat and Jess. So you're coming too. This is a full boat. So, all right, here we go, Donna. I'm going to unmute you.
Okay.
Hi, y'all. I'm Donna. This is my husband, Thomas. I fell in June of 2021 and broke both sides of my left wrist. And I'm left-handed and was in a cast for probably 4 to 6 months. They couldn't figure it out. They said, your bones are healed. You shouldn't be in this much pain. And it was excruciating. It was like no pain I've ever experienced before. It's like way deep inside, like an electric shock pain. So finally he sent me to a neurologist, and the neurologist called me. He told me to sit down, and he said, you have CRPS, all the same stuff that Chase was talking about, and it'll never go away. And he said, you also have POTS, which is the reason I fell. And so went, therapy, what was that procedure we did? And different therapies and procedures.
We did the scrambler.
Yeah, the scrambler.
Some.
And it was just like a Band-Aid, though. It didn't fix the core problem. So then we met Chase to fast forward. I was in still a really lot of pain. November of, I believe, 2024, we were in the Trial by Fire 2 documentary that's coming up with Charles Maddox. He's the director of it. And Chase is also in the trial by fire too. And then that's when we virtually met. I called Chase literally. I was at the end of my rope. I couldn't even think straight. I was in so much pain I couldn't stand it anymore. So we prayed about it and decided to try his therapy. And we started. We did all his free stuff he offers on YouTube, which I highly recommend. The modules, and then we did the one-on-ones, and the letters were very eye-opening to me because it's when I really realized that the emotional was directly connected to my physical. And writing those letters was very difficult. Sorry. And the last one we did, the last session we did tell Chase he's our Moses. We did. He is our Moses, and we were blessed to be able to meet Chase in person a couple weeks ago in Houston, have dinner. Yeah. But I have to tell you, okay, so the one-on-one we finished, and it's not just a course you go through and then the end. So over the last month, I've lost two of my very dear friends. And it's been really rough. So I could tell I was getting a rash on my stomach, pains here and there, hard to sleep. And I'm like, okay, I'm digging in my toolbox and I'm gonna write a couple letters. And just knowing that I have that to go to, the pain already started to come down, and it's not even there right now. And we baked a strawberry chocolate chip bread yesterday.
Baking's part of her therapy.
Yes, and just all of that. So just to let you know, the tools that you learn from Chase's coaching, use them and apply them even when you're done with the coaching sessions, because they're very helpful. And we do share Chase's everything he's taught us to whoever we can as much as possible. And sharing your own story, I believe, is very powerful because people can really tell this is real. This is a real deal. And our goal is to just continue to help others and hope next year at this time there's so many people on here that you can't even fit it all, Chase.
We already can't fit it all. Well,
I know.
Donna, it's wonderful to see just how far you've come. There were people that met you in the Power Club when there was hard to even get a sentence out because of the pain and the emotion we were feeling. And so to see you here giving testimony and looking lively as ever and being able to navigate the stairs and do all of these things and meet me for dinner here in Houston, it's amazing.
Yes.
And I thank you for speaking up and sharing your story. And I'm excited to see what's next for you and see you this September in our meetup.
And I'm going to put a shout out for the Power Club. It's a good thing. The books are very informative, and it's a good support group as well every month.
Yeah,
I think it's very nice.
And Thomas joined the caregiver at church.
Yeah. So I will say that, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I will say that the Power Club is something I have not promoted much. It's a support group that we have, and I will be promoting it a little bit more starting in February. So if you're curious about joining, if you are really really wanting to join, go to the Power Club recap video on my YouTube, any of them, and look in the description of that video. You'll find a link to join there. But I'll start to promote it a bit more in February. Okay, so next up we've got Adam, Jennifer, then Pat. I know it's a long wait, guys, but let's get Adam.
Well, hello. I know it says Jamie Brown, but she's right here. She's not a camera person,
Nope.
And so she stayed off to the side the whole time.
They're gonna bark for the first time the entire
Yep.
live stream.
But like everyone else was talking, we've had very, bad times, and I don't want to focus on those. Like we've all had pain, and it's been miserable, but the hope brought is so wildly important.
So
And
for those of you that don't know, Adam was bedbound a year ago. We met Chase. They'd been through
scrambler and surgeries and spinal cord stimulator and all the things, and nothing worked long term. And now we're living in an RV and remodeling an old farmhouse by ourselves with our kids. And he just became associate pastor at our church, and he's leading worship and like living a full life.
Yep.
Because of Chase. The Lord brought him to us through, I think, desperate searches through groups and YouTube and all the things. And the whole experience has been amazing. Chase is a wonderful, compassionate individual that we appreciate so much. And the experience in North Carolina was unlike anything we'd ever been a part of.
It was so cool getting to see everybody in person. The next time one of those happens, if you're here and you weren't a part of it, be a part of it. There's so many people. We're all the same.
No, for real. We made some of the best connections and laughed more than I think we've laughed in the longest time with Dalton and Jennifer and everybody.
And Mr. Nick Walsh.
Yes. I was like, Dalton's gonna bring it up. But the connections made and the healing, and Chase worked with our son for a little bit because he was experiencing things. And I don't know. Our life is so much brighter.
Yeah.
Because of
do you want to say hi?
And the group.
Caleb wants to say hi because he's like me and likes to say hi to everyone.
Hey, bud. I think, Adam, about you getting flashbang surprised meeting me by Jamie bringing you into a consult without consulting.
He would not have been okay with it, and he would not have been clear-headed, and he would have had all this anxiety.
Being bedbound, I couldn't even tolerate the thought of healing.
Yeah,
it was so bad because I don't know. I'm speaking to people that are in it right now, right? Like, you're in a spot where you're like, I don't want to commit to this because I don't want to be let down. And the thought of even trying something new is enough to tear you apart on the inside. And then like she was talking about, it wasn't mentioned in the thing. My wife didn't tell me I was meeting with Chase. She told me 10 minutes before we were leaving a restaurant. She was like, oh, hey, we're going to just sit in the parking lot for a minute. And I said, why? She's like, because I kind of scheduled us for a meeting. It's okay. Excuse me, what?
I was like, well, would you have said yes? And he was like, no. And I was like, great, we're on the meeting now. Here's Chase.
Yeah.
And even after the first meeting, I was like, you're trying to tell me it's all in my head? It's all in his head? Like, this is real. There's real things. And I was like, really, really skeptical, but it is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our lives are completely changed. I'm grateful the Lord brought you into our life.
Yep.
I'm thankful you guys found me and gave me your trust. And, that's not one thing I want to note for everyone in here. Sometimes the message that I'm giving gets misconstrued. You have very real happening physical symptoms. I know that firsthand. I wanted to cut my leg off. I could see it turning colors. There was pain in my foot and it was very real. And there were changes in circulation and heat and all of it. But it is driven by something that is very deep and emotionally painful, and exploring that in a safe way is exactly the way that we move forward. And Adam, you healed parts of me as I went through coaching with you. The letters that you read, the forgiveness that you shown, the multiple times I broke down crying during our sessions, just wonderful, and so glad to see where you're at, and excited for what's to come. I'm excited. It's just lovely to see all of you guys thriving, and I'll be excited to see you again this year in September, hopefully.
That sounds great.
All right. So she's been waiting patiently. Up next is going to be Pat, and then we'll get to Jennifer. Hang in there, Jennifer. I'm coming. And then I see you, Christina. Don't worry, Jamie and Jess. Anyone else that wants to speak or ask a question, now's the time to raise your hand. You can do the react button. That's a heart, and put raise hand. Go ahead, Pat.
Oh, hi. I'm Pat Murray. I'm in some of the videos on the modules. You've seen my older face.
Beautiful face.
I have had CRPS for 9 years, and I want to say that what a lot of the other people have said, it goes for me. But I also am still in pain, but I'm not giving up hope. That's what was lacking before, was the hope. Chase gave me the hope that I could get better and I could get out of this pain. And for years, I was stuck in the fact that I thought I couldn't, and I was just drowning in depression and sorrow for myself. And my husband he was a very good help, and but I was trying not to bring him down, but I needed someone else that could really influence me and help me to get out of this. And the fact that I'm now back to living life, I'm volunteering at my church with so many groups, and I love that. And I'm doing some biking on my stationary bike. I go swimming. Yeah, I'm just back to life. And I must say that if Matt is still there, I really got inspired by your letters, Matt. And the letter writing was really, really helpful to me to go forward. And also the rage room. That was something that I really love doing, and now it's in Chase's module as a thing you should try and do because it's very healing, and it was for me too. I'm on this road still, and I still message Chase all the time, even though I'm done the online course, which by the way is so solid and so helpful. But I message him sometimes. I've done also 24 weeks with him with online coaching. So the, what I'm trying to say here is, yes, I still have pain, but it's not taking over my life like it used to, and I'm not depressed like I used to be. I'm sorry, I'm running out of power here. I'm trying to plug in.
You're good.
Okay, there.
Okay. Well,
yeah. So thank you, Chase, and I'm going to get better. I know it. I have the hope and the desire, and I want to.
I know it too, Pat. And a lot of people will come to me and they'll ask me when we talk, how long? How long will it be? Can I do it in 8 weeks? Can I do it in 2? Can you fix me right now immediately? I do wish I could. And, when you've been dealing with pain for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, there's a lot of stuff there that we have to sort through. There's a lot of tools and things that we need to learn. We are unprogramming a nervous system that was developed all through your life. And so, there is ups and downs on this road, and it does take time. And sometimes people will get to a low pain level and will stop working together in coaching, and they'll take the tools I've given them and go the rest of the way on their own. But I strongly believe, and I have seen it happen, that you can continue to reduce your pain to a point where what happens to me happens, and you suddenly say, oh, I haven't had pain in 3 weeks. And then that was 8 years ago. So, yeah, thank you, Pat, for mentioning that. I think that's very important for people to set expectations. And
also I'm in the Power Club with Donna and Jen, and that has been a great group for me. I love the books, and the support has been fabulous. So thanks for that too, Chase.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Pat was a big driver for getting me to even start the Power Club. So it's really cool. And yeah, Pat and Janelle were 2 big ones that encouraged me. So, okay. All right. Without further ado, let's go, Dalton.
I know what you were doing. You knew that I was a mess.
Well, I
was
waiting patiently. I was walshing you, collect yourself, and we were ready to go. So tell me, how's Dalton doing?
We're ready to go. Dalton is doing great. Definitely because of you. I will say that he's doing online school, and he just hit the principal's list for being amazing.
Woo, let's go.
We give him claps for that. But
yeah.
On my note, I have to say that we were diagnosed just a little over a year ago with CRPS. I've been a nurse for 26 plus years, now 27, and I had never heard of anything like it. And he had surgery, we were diagnosed, and I actually worked for the provider that diagnosed him with CRPS. And they looked straight me in the eye and said, Jen, do not look it up. And that resonated with me terribly because I knew if they're telling me not to look it up as a nurse, this is not a good diagnosis. It took me a few weeks to finally call in sick because I never do, to sit down and take a day for me to figure out what I needed to do for him. Now I'm gonna break. Um, I cannot thank Regina DiCarlo enough, and I hope you're on here now. I did multiple searches of CRPS on Facebook, and knowing that a bunch of them are crap, I found that one. And within 30 minutes, we got contacted with you. And you have changed all of our lives forever. I do believe that you are each and every one of our idol. You have saved my son because I got multiple calls from him during this time that he just asked me if he could just die. And as a 12-year-old, that's not what you want to hear. With your help, we got him to the point in May that he is mostly pain-free and he has flares and he totally understands those. In that 3 months, I took time off to spend with my son and realized that part of it, I'm sure, was the stress of my job. And in turn, I've quit and found the most amazing job. And then we had the most amazing opportunity to find our new the window pane family when we came to North Carolina. It was a 36-hour amazing life-changing trip for us both. And we will never, ever forget the support that we have from you, no matter what. It doesn't matter what time of day, it doesn't matter how long, it doesn't matter the question. You're always there for us.
Yeah.
I don't know what you have to say because your mom is a bawling mess. I don't really have anything to say. Did you have fun in North Carolina? Yeah. Did you meet some amazing people? Yeah, and I learned that we need to wash the streets of we need to wash the streets of CRPS.
I'm just, yeah, I can't say it enough how proud I am of you, Dalton, for, yeah, I mean, from the moment we started working together, you were like, all right, I'll take this on. I believe you. I can get better. And we dove into a lot of these emotional things that contribute to what is happening. One of the things that happened around the time that Dalton started having pain was someone passed away, right? And a lot of times grief, when pushed down, can show up in our body, especially when it's combined with the stressful job and an environment we might be needing adjusting. Nobody's fault. It's just our nervous system is speaking for us. It is saying, help. I need to be seen. I need to be understood. And that is something I want all of you to know. CRPS, POTS, PANS, PANDAS, AMPS, MCAS, all of those, they are called invisible illnesses for a reason. We gave it that name because we have a deep, unconscious desire to be seen. There are parts of us that are unheard because of our tendency to keep our emotions to ourselves, and that is a huge part of healing. One of those people that knows about that is Christina, and if you guys are ready, here we go.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, Chase, for helping me go from years of being in constant fear and pain to living life pain-free and no longer letting the fear hold me back. And for everyone listening, this is way more than just pain coaching. Chase takes the time to create a relationship with you, to really get to know you. And I am still in contact with him today, and it's just been so amazing.
Yeah, you've been amazing, Chase. 15 years we went through this since she's been 9, and constant, well, pain forever, up and down. but it wasn't until she had a really big pain flare in October that just, brought her down. She couldn't use her legs, her hands. And I was so afraid. I went back and looked on Facebook, which I had been not looking at that for years because of, feeling so discouraged with the way that people scared us. We were really afraid of it. I was one of those mothers that was really afraid. And I think that you made me realize that I needed to understand. And you're just so gifted. I just need to tell everybody, oh, I don't want to start crying. You're so gifted, not only because you've had CRPS, you reached out to me immediately, which we had doctors that we would call just, panicking, and they wouldn't call us back. This was medical doctors in, Colorado's big hospitals. So I just felt alone, like nobody would listen to us. And it went away for a while. She was at a level 4 until it hit again. And then the fear just came back. But some of the things we've heard from everybody, similar stories. But the thing about you, Chase, having CRPS and the compassion and the education, how you educate us, was priceless. She was skeptical. I was skeptical. She was very afraid to talk to you because so many people had let her down. We did scrambler. I mean, we did anything anybody told everything, and nothing seemed to work. So we were really discouraged, and I was very protective of her, thinking that it would come back. And so she didn't have a life. She couldn't do the things that she wanted to do. And she's 24 now, and you've helped us get past the fear. We're a very logical family. And she was studying engineering, and, it's just, it makes sense now, you saying that you were going to be a software engineer because you were able to talk to us like we'd never heard the logic of CRPS or how you think through it. And you told me she's going to be pain-free if you just be patient with me and listen. And I was like, yeah, right. And you were like explaining the pain's going to just start coming down. I'm like, right. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to stand back. But I really thought that you needed medications and things like this. I didn't understand the technique of the brain and all those connections. But literally in 9 months, yeah, little by little, she went from not being able to walk or stand. I'm picking her up from the bed, putting her to bed, bathing her. She can't use her right hand. Can't walk. I mean, it was just, I was really afraid. Did this come back and it's never going to go away? Because you never could get any good information. Everything was, yeah. But now she's back. Zero pain. She's running 3 miles every other day. She's working out with weights. She's excited. I'm not nervous about her getting hurt again. So it's a real thing with the parents as well. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Christina was, I'll say, in a period where she had manageable pain, could go to school. And when this happened in October of 24, we were all in a very dark place. We were very discouraged. And then we met you and we went through this process, and it changed all our lives. And one thing that you've talked about and Christina talked about was even when she was in relatively good periods of pain, we kind of put her in this box because we were afraid. You don't want to open a box. Maybe that would cause something. And so once you go through this incremental process, you learn that there is no box. If you stay in the box, it only gets smaller. Like you said, if you don't use your arm, a good arm, it'll atrophy, right? So I'll just say no fear. Christina runs a 5K every other day. Oh my God, right? So it's just amazing to see, and so we just appreciate everything you've done for us and for Christina. And she's gone back to school a little bit.
Yeah.
And So that was another thing we were afraid of that would trigger other things. And
So she's got a lot of catching up to do, you know?
yeah,
And it's great.
so
Thank you, Chase. And I
Yeah.
just, everyone's got to just give you a call and yeah,
Yeah.
we have hope. Have hope.
I can't thank you guys enough for, a lot of you guys don't know this, but they were the family that actually was the catalyst for me leaving my job. They came to me and they said, "Can you help our daughter?" And I said, "Oh, I can't because I'm, at this hospital and I don't think I can." And they said, "Why not?" And I said, "You're right, why not?" Let's try it. And she was my very first private client. And, while I was at my hospital, I started saying, "Hey, someone reached out to me to do a documentary. Can I be in it?" Hospital said no. I said, "See you later." And yeah, I quit my job and then I started meeting all of you one by one, and building my program, and here we are. So you guys can thank Christina and family for having faith in me, and mom especially, yeah, pointing at her, and yeah, they're why I'm here in a large capacity, So these are all pieces that fell into place, and yeah, watching her do the 5K, the Fight the Flame 5K was absolutely astonishing. And people have followed your story in my videos on YouTube and the course. It's been great. So thank you guys. We've got Jamie and Jess. I know you guys have been patient, so here we go, Jamie.
Okay. I think I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you are. Go for it.
Okay. I was diagnosed, well, I got injured at work, January 26th of 2021, and I developed CRPS in my right foot. Well, then it went up to my right leg. So it was just been a mess since then. But I was always able to walk and stuff because I had to. I didn't have a choice. Like I had to take my daughter to school and stuff and everything, like take care of stuff at the house. So I couldn't just lay in the bed and cry about it. So my foot was always mobile and my leg, but a lot of my issues were like the burning. I couldn't wear jeans, certain pajama pants. I could only wear certain socks. I wasn't able to wear shoes. I could wear Crocs, but anytime a shoe would like touch the top of my foot and stuff, it would be really bad. Or I hit my foot on something, it would flare up. But then I saw Chase on it was like going through my news feed on Facebook, I think in October, and I started watching his YouTube videos, and I wasn't able to sleep on my right leg, on my right side. I had to use certain sheets, blankets, and stuff like that. And then I started watching his YouTube videos, and I saw Christina's video actually of the desensitizing. So I started desensitizing while I was in the tub because the hot water felt really good. So I would take my washcloth and stuff and just desensitize myself. So fast forward to I joined his the group, the online course. I started the online course, I think, in November. So anyway, fast forward to now, my right leg has gotten better. Like I haven't had any type of sensations in my right leg anymore. Only in my right foot, some. It's some, but not a lot. It's manageable. I'm able to wear jeans, pajama pants, and stuff again, socks that I couldn't wear. And I also went back to work last week. I haven't worked in 5 years since I got injured. So I went back to nursing on Monday, and I wore the same shoes that I got injured in. I haven't not wore those shoes since January 26th of 2021 until Monday.
Wow.
And I worked a 40-hour week. I've had very minimal pain, and so
Wow.
that's big.
Jamie, it's really cool, and what people should know is Jamie and I have never worked together one-on-one. Jamie only did my online course. Jamie has an understanding of things as a nurse, which is great and helpful for her. And we did have a free consult where we talked, and we
Yeah.
might end up working one-on-one eventually. But Jamie is very strong. She is awesome. And a lot of you are in here and you're nurses and you're teachers and you're sitting here thinking, gosh, why are there so many nurses and teachers in here? What is the deal with that? Well, remember, we all share a certain personality, and that personality and the care we give to others is a big thing that ratchets up our nervous system. Do you think it's coincidence that I know that many of you are taking care of parents with dementia? Do you think it's coincidence that I know that many of you lost a relative or a loved one around the time of your diagnosis? Do you think it's coincidence that I know that your families are somewhat fractured or you lost a pet or many multiples of these things happened? Do you think it's coincidence that I know that your job is overly stressful and you should have left it many years ago, but you haven't? It's not. And so when I say this to you, I'm not just spitballing. This is not just a coincidence. It is not just a pattern. It is the very reason that you have pain. And medicine will never show you this because guess what's not involved in that? A lot of money. It's built into the name, pain management. They want to manage your pain, not have you overcome it. They don't know they're doing it. They will not admit it, but that's the reality. And so that's why I'm here, hopefully to change that narrative. So thank you so much for saying that, Jamie. And Jess, I've seen you there. I'm ready to chat with you. Let's do it. Not yet. Try again. Let's see. So there you go.
Hi, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hi,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm actually one of the OGs of the window pane. I think at the time I talked to Chase, I think there was 12 of us, maybe, if
Yep.
we were lucky. Now there's thousands. Welcome, all of you.
Yeah.
I just want to say that when I was originally diagnosed, it was October of 2024, and I Googled it. And I searched and I searched and I read all of the bad things and all of the negative things. And then I found Chase's window pane group. Changed my life. His online YouTube videos, if you haven't watched them, I recommend you do. I recommend it to everybody on those crazy Facebook groups all the time. Sometimes they shoot me down, sometimes they don't. I don't care. I will advocate for Chase forever. I just want I was diagnosed when I broke up a dog fight, my own two dogs. So I was bitten over 60 times in my right hand. I went to the doctor. They were like, you have CRPS, you'll never work again. You'll never be able to do anything. I guess I'm from Canada. So in the US, I think we are CNAs.
Yeah. Yeah. CNAs or
I'm
RNs
seeing,
or yeah.
yeah. In Canada, we are PSWs, but they
Okay.
told me I would never work again.
Sure.
I have a physiotherapist who, I mean, is my biggest cheerleader besides you and my husband. I just want to show you my right hand, which I could not move, use. It was swollen, purple, change colors, couldn't take a shower, couldn't do anything. It's my dominant hand. I'm waving, I'm bending, I'm doing all the things now. I can lift cups, I can do everything thanks to Chase. Chase, and when I first found out, I emailed him. I was in a panic. I was like, I don't know how to retrain my brain. I don't know how to fix this. And I said, I'm just going to keep telling myself there's nothing wrong. I'm healed. And he's like, there's step one. And then it was pain is not your prison. And that was my driving force to get through this. So I want to just thank you so much for that. And, the books that you recommend, I think it was was it John Sarno who said, the only thing to fear is fear itself. And that just triggered me. And I was like, you're right. I'm not going to fear this anymore. I'm going to power through. So now I'm at the point where I think April is my goal and I'm going to go back to work.
Love it. And we not only will you prove those wrong that said you couldn't do those things, but you will actually start to change things from the inside, which is lovely to see in our medical community 100%. I'm proud of you, Jess, and excited for you. And I think you brought up a good point. You know, when you start to share my materials in groups to help me out, you will be met with resistance. You will be met with ridicule. People might say mean things to you. What I want to encourage you to do is never lash out back. Meet them with kindness, meet them with care. They are finding a place for the anger that they are feeling about the people that have let them down, and you are that place. Accept it. Tell them that you wish them the best and you hope that they just check out some of the free stuff and move on from there. If anyone ever bashes me or talks badly about me, it's okay. I will still work with them. I have no qualms about that. I know for a fact that if I went back in time and I came to my old self, I would be one of those people. I would be one of those people lashing out. I would threaten to punch me in the face. That would be me. And, you know, we have to understand that people are hurting and it's okay. All we can do is offer them light. And if they decide to move towards it, then that's their choice. If they're not ready, totally okay. Totally okay. So just want to mention that. I've pasted in the chat the link to my YouTube. Thank you, Jess, for speaking. And anyone else, you know, if you don't know how to use the raised hand feature, you can raise your hand right now. I will click through the windows and see if there's someone that, you know, is raising their hand. I can have you talk. Let's see. Okay, everyone else's videos are off. I see something. Stink Butt Cheese Garden. Winnie, Winnie, do you want to talk? If you want to, you have a chance.
No, she doesn't want to talk, but when you were talking about people angry and using you for a space to be angry,
Yeah.
just was making me think of Winnie's name for you in
Yeah.
the beginning and
Yes.
how kind you were and patient and had a sense of humor about her calling you Stink Butt Cheese Garden. So yeah.
Yeah. Winnie is one of my lovely clients, and she adopted the nickname for me of Stink Butt Cheese Garden, to which I promptly changed my Zoom name to it, and I believe that's our group chat name as well. So yeah, I'm happy
And
to.
she did just run out of the room, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, when I start to show up in your household, it's stinky and, you know, maybe she's craving cheese. Who knows?
Yeah.
So yeah, funny. Well, I hope you guys are doing well and I'm here whenever you guys need.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I just texted you. We're ready for our we've had a pause. We had 8 visits and we've had a
yeah,
pause, and I think we're ready to have another
let's
gather.
keep going. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
So yeah.
Sounds good. I'll get to your text. I
But
do see.
we are doing great overall.
Good.
It just creeps up, sometimes when
Yeah. Yeah.
life gets painful,
It does.
our foot and neck get painful,
Yeah.
and yeah, but we can talk about the things that in life that are painful, and it's kind of amazing because she'll come and say, my neck hurts, my foot hurts, and then I'll say, what's bothering you? And then I'll say, is this bothering you? And she'll get very angry and say, no. And Stink Butt says that, but that's not true. But then not true. But then we're able to move on. And we've had a couple of days. She's had this week a lot of neck and foot pain, and then an opportunity came up for her to play princess in my other daughter's princess party business. And suddenly last night she was on for 3 hours and dressed as Rapunzel, and it just everything changed for her. So
Yeah.
I don't know, that's random, but but it is just it's kind of like amazing how it just her pain is connected to everything going on in her world. And she's an empath, and
yes,
yeah,
we all are empaths, and you're absolutely right. Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate.
Yeah.
I believe an extension of that is that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it pain.
Yeah.
And that is something that happens to us as empaths.
Yeah.
A lot of us might identify as empaths. A lot of us will identify as type A. What I want you guys to know is the type A personality was originally invented to determine who was most likely to have a heart attack. So, you know, when it comes to the physical being emotionally connected, it's right in front of us. And it goes back to 1930s and even further. So awesome. I'm ready for you guys. I see Stink Butt Cheese Card and group chat was activated, so I'll get back to you soon. And yeah, I saw Alice. So Alice, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm usually way too shy to talk in front of a big Zoom group like this. For some reason, it's harder for me to talk on a Zoom meeting than it is like actually in person. I think it's the whole camera thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's really important for me to say that Chase's class just was so much more than helping me get over my physical pain. And I wasn't expecting any of the emotional work before signing on for his online class. That was just such a complete surprise. And I feel like his class and especially his one-on-ones just taught me so much more about myself than I ever realized. And that's been so huge for me to get better. I kind of grew up in a culture and a society that, well, my culture was very just emotionally repressed, and it still is. My family is not one to share any feelings with each other or emotions. And still to this day, whenever I bring up anything to do with any feelings or emotions, I feel like they just want to exit the room. And it's hard for me not to feel uncomfortable with that still. But Chase has taught me that my emotions are mine and they're important and valid. And I really appreciate that. Like, that's the one thing that I feel so very thankful for, Chase, is you've taught me that I should be comfortable with my emotions and not ashamed of them anymore. So thank you for all that.
Absolutely. And Alice, I'm so thankful that you worked up the courage to speak. I know, knowing you, I know how hard that could be, and it means the world. And you make such a good point. You know, there are so many families where we grow up and emotions are not just talked about, and it's cross culture, you know, in so many ways, and in some cultures harder than others. And you know, it's funny because in my attempt to be strong after the deaths of my loved ones or the things that happened in my family, in my attempt to hold it together for everyone else, I developed this ruthlessness where even in physical therapy school, I was the only person with a certain personality type, the commander. And that personality type was very analytical, very calculated. And I remember in class talking about my personality type being the best and saying something along the lines of emotions are useless. They are what make us weak. And I remember my professor saying emotions are what make you human. And I was stopped in my tracks and I still rejected that idea for a few years to come. And lo and behold, it was one of the answers all along to not only my own suffering, but the suffering of so many others like me. So yeah, emotions are such a connection here, and yeah, it's eye-opening, and I learn more about it every single day working with each and every one of you. So yeah, thank you, Alice. And if there's anyone else that has a question, wants to say something, I've got one or two more minutes. But otherwise, I've really enjoyed having you guys here. Okay, I see one person. I just want to say before I jump into the next question, thank you all so much for coming. I very much appreciate all of you taking the time out to be here. For the rest of the day, the discount for the course will run for you guys. If you have someone else who wants to join the course that wasn't here and you want to sneak them the discount code, I won't get mad at you. That's okay. Yeah, I look forward to all the things that are to come this year in 2026. I got a lot of big plans, a lot of big news, a lot of things changing. Please do share everything that you can, especially the documentary, which I linked in the chat for you to have an easy way to share it. Okay. All right. Annie, I think you have your hand up.
I do. Actually, my name is Trina. For some reason, my daughter's name came up on the Zoom.
Hi, Trina.
So, I was, yeah, hi. I fell down some icy stairs. I grew up in Lake Tahoe, fell down some icy stairs and herniated my neck and my C3, C4. I ended up having several nerve blocks, and on my sixth nerve block, the doctor moved and stuck the needle through my sensory nerve. And I was instantly on fire. It took them 6 days to control my pain in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, I grew up a very tough child. I played sports. I loved dirt. I would even eat it. It didn't matter. My dad coached me in softball, and I have a very strong mental mind. And I think that that's the only reason that I'm still fighting CRPS is because I have a strong mental mind. I fight the fight. I will not let CRPS win. I know it's there. I know it was done by a doctor. So mentally, I've come to terms with that. And I've been okay with it. And I made it my friend. When I made my CRPS my friend, it changed my whole world. It made me allowed to fight through the pain, know it is okay, know that I am suffering, and know that there's going to be hope at the end. And for I don't know, 5 years, the doctor told me I wouldn't do anything. I'd never work again. I would never do anything. Well, in 2007, I moved to Arizona from Lake Tahoe because it was just too cold for me. And once I moved here, I started to get better. And once I started to get better, my husband and I at the time decided to open a restaurant. Here I am 13 years later. I still own that restaurant. I still work it every single day. I adopted a special needs daughter. I have filled my life with amazing things to help me fight my CRPS. But just recently in 2023, I was having bone on bone issues when I would be turning my neck. So I went to go see a neurosurgeon, and he said I was bone on bone. And so he put some hardware in there. And when I woke up from the procedure, I felt amazing. The best I have felt ever. And it was wonderful. 4 months later, I got into a car accident and it shifted my hardware. They had to go back in. They went back in September of this year. And I woke up in extreme pain. And I have to tell you, the anger sometimes can take control of who you are, especially when you're upset from pain. And so I'm frustrated right now in my life. I'm very frustrated. And then your feed popped up on my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I never feed into those things because I know this sounds terrible, but when I hear people complaining about their pain, it makes me suffer because I feel for them. Yeah. I have a ton of empathy. I'm just an empathetic person. And so I couldn't watch those. But when I came up on yours and listened to you talk, I felt, well, you know what? It's not going to hurt for me to give them a try. It's not going to hurt at all. Yeah. So I might as well. So listening to this whole 2 hours, I signed up for your courses. I signed up for a one-on-one with you. I have it in April. I'm looking forward to finding new ways to help control my pain. So I can live. I hear other people talking that they still have pain and everything, and it's still there, but mentally they're so much better and they're able to deal with it through learning from other people, learning from you, trying new things, and just seeing what's out there. So I'm going to give it a shot.
I'm Trina, I'm really happy that you've signed up. I'm really excited to help you. I can already identify through words that you're using things that I can help you with. The first of which being I guess the feeling around the hardware and the things that are in our body. And what I want to show you really quickly as we start to wrap up this live stream is this individual. His name is Travis Pastrana. He is an extreme sports athlete. And this is his x-ray. Every single joint in his body has been repaired. It has had hardware inserted. It has had all kinds of things happen. And while it is true that hardware can cause pain in a certain way, especially if, something is jostled or injured in that way. What I want you to know is it is not always the reason for the lingering of the pain. Injuries heal, tissues remodel, we adapt. That is what humans are best at. And that is something we will talk about at length in my online course and when we get to coaching together. So you're already so strong. I can see it. I can hear it. And I'm so grateful for your trust. And I have no doubt that I can help. If not just a little, hopefully a whole lot. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to wrap up on that. It's gone way over, as it always does. But I have loved this truly. I was super nervous about all of this. It can be a really hope is a fragile thing, as a wise man once told me. And dishing it out can feel scary. And so it feels scary for me to come on here and try to change the narrative. But I hope when you hear from now on that CRPS is incurable, you don't believe the lie. And I say that with confidence. So thank you all. I am going to allow you to unmute yourself and you can say bye or whatever you would like, but this is it. We're wrapping up. Please share the live stream. The discount code will still be live for the rest of the day. And I'm going to put that in chat for anyone else who's still on the fence. I'd love to have you in the course. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We love you, Chase.
Love you guys too. Talk soon. Matt, I'll shoot you an email, man. We can figure out something.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.